Spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner of Derelict Watcher, the red Zerg player from Taiwan. It is Gamania Sin. And his opponent in the top right-hand corner of the map, the blue Zerg player, the Doppler Effect himself, Goswser.
Doppler.
I still don't understand what the Doppler Effect is supposed to be. I know it's the Doppler with a P.
Yeah.
But with Mike, it's the Doppler. The Doppler Effect.
But sometimes there's just no answer. Sometimes things just are the way they are.
Somebody really smart needs to write up what the Doppler Effect is.
I told you.
For me, that graphic just showed a train running over Sin, or Max said.
The Doppler effect is the frequency that's used when something is in motion, and that's something that an observer notices relative to
what does that mean,
source
though?
of the object. Frequency waves.
Frequency waves that an observer notices?
That is different.
According to our technical director, it has something to do with sound waves and trains. So,
well, when a train moves,
it makes sound.
Yes, and that sound travels with a frequency, and that's the Doppler effect.
I don't think that's quite.
That's the Doppler effect.
You
can ask Christian Doppler himself.
He's dead. I'm gonna ask Michael Doppler. And he's gonna say.
It's all about them Zerglings. We see Hedge first on the left bottom side of the map for Sen. And the right top side, we can see Goswser once more playing it a little more safe. I've been saying this over and over again. If there's one thing that I know for sure, is that Goswser is not a Zerg who hedges first a whole hell of a lot.
Yep. And I think Sen may be taking advantage of it here.
Yeah.
Realizing that he can get away with it. We'll have a slightly better economy. But only ever so slightly. Comes out to like 1 or 2 drones at the end of the day.
In the old days, we used to think it was a super big deal, and it's still nice because you often say, Ben, StarCraft is a game of small advantages.
I have been known to say that in the past, and it's Sin who's going to walk away from this with a small advantage. He's got a pretty fast gas though, which is not going. It's going to mean that drone lead that he might have had is not going to be quite as substantial. He's sacrificing a drone to build that extractor. He's also going to be using 3 drones to mine gas and not minerals.
Do you think Goswser is going to be on the train of never change the winning team or strategy in this case? Once more delay both extractors and do something similar as he did in the last game? Because it seemed to have worked out pretty well for him.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think there's no real reason for him to make a big variation, at least not in his early game. He might try something different in the mid game.
Yeah, might try some sort of a different timing. Try to surprise his opponent a little bit. As I've seen Ghost. The game that I did see from Goswser was when he played against Steely on this map, and that was a lot about a lot of links and a lot of banelings early on. Not something that I feel Goswser is normally necessarily very comfortable in. Not something of like very low economy drones. Like if Goswser would do something like that, it's more like in the range of 30 to 35 drones, and then being really aggressive with either roaches or just links and banes. He's not really the type of Zerg who loves to do it of 18 to 20 drones.
Right now, both players just powering their economies. We see Queen's already out for Sin. He's got 2 Queens out. So does Mike.
Mike still no.
He's getting a 3rd Queen? Is that what I'm seeing? Sure is.
Still no gas. That's why.
So he's going to go with the creep spread tactic here for Derelict Watcher. That's interesting. Speed and Baneling Nest on the way for Sin. He's also making 6 Lings, which is more than you make if you just want to be defensive.
But he's also making 7 drones, which is more than you make when you want to be aggressive.
Also true.
Damn, I'm smart. Gets a good cut off over here, man. This is a massive cut. Might seem like a small thing, but you see both extractors just now going down. Goswser is throwing down the Roach Warren as well. That will most likely be a safety Roach Warren, at least for now. But he's also making a couple of Overlords. Is it a safety Roach Warren, man? I mean, he's going to start his wall.
Sure. He doesn't really have any gas, so what could he do?
Yeah.
He's taken gas, but he hasn't mined any. Now he's going to start. Almost looks like he forgot.
Yeah, well, they just finished up, literally, like 2 seconds ago.
Okay.
So more drones on the way.
No scout for Goswser as Sin reveals his Ling speed and moves across the map once more.
You can say so far that Ling speed definitely didn't really pay for itself. Sen does have a very small work rate, but as Mr. Bitter pointed out as well, man, it feels weird when I call you Mr. Bitter. Ben pointed out as well earlier there. Sen took a really quick gas, so his economy, is hurting a little bit from that. And I think it's safe to say that other than a little bit of map control, Sen didn't really get anything for it in return. So if he would have delayed his gas, his economy would have been better than it is right now.
The real benefit is that he's able to take this faster third base than Goswser. So we're going to have a 3-base Sin much more quickly than we'll have a 3-base Goswser. Also double upgrades for Sin this time, only single upgrades for Goswser. That's the exact opposite of what we saw on our last map.
Well, we also see Goswser getting a really quick hatchery, man. Or really quick, well. It's 45 seconds quicker than his opponent.
Lair, you mean?
Yes, Lair.
Yeah, so what's he going to do with that?
A couple of Lynx are going to perhaps try to pick up this drone, but that's not going to work. Lynx might be able to sneak up into the main base, though. So that is really good, so you will be able to see the Lair
More
timing.
than a little bit annoying. They'll even pick off a drone or two.
Second. Maybe even the third one. Lucky drone.
Two drones in total.
But you will be able to see the Lair, and that's massive.
No. Goswser was oversaturated in his main anyway. He don't care.
Now it's perfect. 16-16, all part of the strategy.
Exactly. Roach speed and +1 are on the way. Third base is going down. I'm not really sure what to make of Goswser's build, Kev.
I mean, he delays his gases for slightly more mineral
look, he's got all this extra gas, and he's not using the second Evo chamber. Like, what gives? Do you think he accidentally queued up armor and the same one as he has attack?
Well, I think you might have a point, because there's really no other reason to have that much gas. Have a second Evo chamber, have the minerals, and not research it. I don't know, he's starting it right now.
Now it's going to start. I bet you he queued him up in the same one. We can't tell in this UI, unfortunately, but question for the ages.
60 drones for well, not really for the ages, because he's in the same building as us.
Question for the end of the broadcast.
Yes, we'll probably be able to figure it out later today. Let's hope it's not going to have a massive influence on this game, though. 60 drones against 56. Third base up for both players right now. Was a little bit quicker for Sen, as we know. Baining, yes. Didn't he have one already? No, he never had. Man, I really thought he had one.
Yeah, he started one. This has been like the series of cancellations.
I think they're messing with us.
No, it was building right in front of his hatchery earlier on when he was getting speed. And there's 6 lings.
And cancelled it. 15 roaches in production right now. Sen in full roach mode.
I wonder why he's making banelings.
I don't really understand that part either. Really important game once more. 1-1 here in the series. Round of 32. WCS America. Winner will move on to the round of 16. Both players have roughly 400 to 500 WCS points. It's going to be hard for them to make it to BlizzCon. But you know, Ben, nothing is impossible. If they win WCS America, make it past the group stages in Toronto, then we're going to see them at BlizzCon.
Yeah, that means that's a lot of WCS points.
That's crazy many WCS points.
Super passive game here, Kev. 36 roaches to 32 roaches. Drone count is identical. Goswser's got a little bit more larva to work with than Sin does, for some reason. But beyond that, I mean, this is going to be Roach Baneling against Roach Roach.
Roach Hydra. Goswser just dropped the Hydra.
Yeah, Hydra Den is on the way.
But not yet.
But he might...
How many links do we have on the map? Just 14.
Yeah, and they're all Sin's lings. Sin's got a slightly larger army supply than Goswser does. Goswser
has attacking first, but you know what it means.
Goswser's preemptively set up a huge concave, and Sin wants nothing to do with it. He's just going to back right off. And now 14 banelings. Man, he's going to go for a bizarre baneling bust. Now banelings are.
If they connect big time, actually, he's going to be able to
you don't want to do that, Goswser. It's a donation, and Sin is gladly going to gobble that up. And
it's so weird.
Oh, this is so scary. Oh, Goswser's going to have to make a little bit of splitting happen, and those banelings did not look that effective. I think this is good for Goswser. He's got Sin completely surrounded. Sin's roach count is pretty high, though. He is going to reposition and get out of there.
Reinforcements, he's probably going to have to get out of there. Because there are a lot of roaches which are about to hatch for Goswser. I think it was okay. Actually, Sen is still doing pretty
so many reinforcements coming up for Goswser. His +2 upgrades also going to finish. I think Goswser's going to hold here, Kev. Sin is doing what he can. But with inferior upgrades and so much wasted gas on those banelings, that just did not make a whole lot of sense to me. This is a great opportunity here for Goswser. Roach count is almost even, 31 to 29.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to really push.
Yeah, you can't really attack.
Look how many HP.
Don't do it, Goswser. Why?
So many roaches, so low on HP, and quite a few of them will go down immediately.
He's going to have to fall back. Now I think it's time to start building some Hydras.
No. All the way to the other side of the map, and then they turn around again. No. Like the good old cartoons.
Yeah.
When our biggest worry was if Cartoon Network wouldn't reproduce.
Our biggest worry was oversleeping on Saturday and missing the cartoons.
Missing Dragon Ball Z. or if they start over again. It was tough growing up in Holland.
Oh man, the worst is when you get up for DBZ and then there's a rerun on. Like, I've already seen this episode. He charges up for 15 minutes.
And then they go back to the Saiyan Saga. No, not again.
Supplies are very even in spite of that attack. Sin seems like he's okay. No real harm done.
Goswser did squeeze out a few additional drones, Ben, after that fight. He has a nice drone lead right now. It's 8 to 9. Upgrades, it's 1-1 against 2-1. If that armor upgrade wouldn't have been delayed, it would have been 2-2 already for Goswser.
Sin doesn't want to fight until his own +2 attack is ready.
Sin really shouldn't want to fight.
And Goswser is going to force the issue, so this engagement might favor the American. We'll see. Roach count looks pretty close.
Sin, I think.
The concave does look a little better for Sin, and Goswser is going to fall back and wants to hit some more reinforcements. 9 roaches are building. And a very narrow, close game here. 157 supply to 175. Sin's pulling further and further ahead. I wonder why Goswser is refusing to build Hydras. Maybe he just feels that he can't afford them. First 2 are on the way now.
He doesn't have that much gas, but he's done with upgrading for quite a bit now, so he can put most of his gas into the Hydras if he wants. I mean, this is such a wide-open map, though. This is not Belshare Vestige, where you said Belshare has a lot of choke points. Here you're going to have to be a little bit more careful with your Hydras, because before you know it, a couple of roaches swinging from the back. And as awesome as Hydras are, if they're completely exposed, they're still going to fall like flies.
Goswser has played this so well. Once again, we see Sin building Lings.
Such an even game, though. Like, look at the units lost resource step as well. 7,700 against 8,000.
I think he's going to do another Baneling attack.
Really? Yeah.
The thing about it is...
He doesn't have Baneling speed, though.
If the Banelings make big connections, it can totally work. It's just hard to make it work.
You know, Ben, what's also something that the Banelings are doing is a lot of indirect damage, because Goswser is going to run away, and that means that the moment all those units are running away / they are splitting, they're actually not fighting, while all of the roaches, well, Sen will be fighting on that point. So there's a little bit of invisible damage that those Banelings do as well, other than their connections.
Oh, this is scary, man. There's going to be a Baneling flank. The Banelings can come up from behind and hit these Hydras. Goswser is going to have a terrible day. Here they come. Banelings making their way towards the army. Goswser is forced to split, and it does a lot of damage. Is it enough, though? Hydra is still vastly superior in their ability to deal damage.
Upgraded advantage still in favor of Goswser as well. Not for long, though, but during that fight it would have been, and would have definitely played a crucial role.
He needs to back off. There's 23 roaches about to spawn for Sin, and with that, he will be able to push back once more. Goswser knows it. 14 Hydras, 8 roaches on the way for Goswser. He's getting Burrow. I think that's super smart. It allows him to heal those damaged roaches much faster than if he leaves them above ground.
Goswser is going pretty heavy on the Hydras right now, Ben. We can see already 16 on them on the map, 7 more on the way. No signs of a forward base yet. Well, there is your sign.
More Lings coming for Sin, who will continue to make Baneling attacks, and it's
he did a little bit of a trick. He's gonna have more supply than he's supposed to have.
That sneaky guy pulled a Strelic on us.
I remember I saw Dimaga do this once on Metalopolis very, very early on.
Make a bunch of spores and then have 220 supply of Broodlords.
220 Broodlords on Metalopolis. I was like, wow, Dima, you genius.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Goswser.
Couple of roaches still low HP for Goswser. That's something you have to worry about as well. How good will these Baneling connections be, Ben?
Pretty good. He's going to chase all the Hydras back, and I swear I think these fights are getting progressively better and better for Sin, but he is once again strangely surrounded.
More Banelings coming in from the back, though. That actually might turn the battle around.
It looks like it has turned the battle around. Sin's at 194 supply against 140. There are 30 roaches about to spawn, but it might not matter. The bizarre roach Baneling tactic proving to be effective.
He's going to pick up the roach one. That's such a massive pickup.
That's all she wrote, man. Goswser is in trouble. His natural has been breached. The roaches outnumber him by just an unbelievable amount, and weird gameplay from Sin, not even with Baneling speed. This is something that Moonglade used to experiment with way back in the day, and Sin brings it out and makes it work. So
Goswser will sort of hold on to for now, but he's only on 47 drones. He does have a forward base. It's not really saturated, though. He has to wait for his roach one to finish up before he can make more roaches. Crazy well done by Sen, and I think those first connections on all those Hydras were pretty damn good already. Weakened up a lot of them and even killed off a couple of them. And then the second wave, you know, Sen was in a circle, but it was kind of a good circle. It's kind of like 2 guns, you know, where they sent back to back and they're just shooting in all directions. That's what the roaches were doing.
I guess
and it was good.
It's looking good for Sin. For anyone that's like wondering, hey, what in the world do I do against this? It's really simple. You just make an Infestor, and then those Banelings are suddenly much less scary.
Unless you have Baneling splits. You have thought about that, Ben?
I haven't. I haven't thought about that. I've never had to split my Banelings.
What are you doing? Baneling versus
Yeah,
Baneling?
Baneling versus Baneling you do. Or you can just do like me and just A-move.
With a very high success rate. 58 roaches on the map for Sen. It seems like we're going to welcome Sen to the WCS round of 16 once more. He was absent in our... Absent?
Absent?
Absent. Absent is the drink.
Absinthe is something you drink and it makes you feel really funny?
Yep, Euro trip for the win. He wasn't there for the round of 16 last season. He was there in season 1 and it seems like we're going to welcome him once more, Ben. Final Banelings wiggling in. There is no Baneling speed yet.
Stop and wiggle with it, yeah!
It was really big connections, and I think it's super fun to see Sen back once more in a foreign tournament. We saw him at the Hong Kong games, and now he's going to be back in the WCS round of 16.